Going to a homeless shelter is better than sleeping under the roof of a woman that is plotting and planning against you.
Attorney Padideh Jafari.
There's just a few things of caution I want to say, if I may, before we end.
Please.
Do not take matters into your own hands. Men are fixers, right? You tell a man a story, he wants to fix it. Do not do that on your own, okay?
Give me an example of what that might look like. When somebody does that, what does it look like?
Okay, so when men say, okay, I got this restraining order, but I'm going to fix it. Like, I know that, so-and-so and I, my wife, I'm going to try to fix this. I'm going to approach her, and maybe not, maybe in a public place, and try to say, let's just talk. Like, this is not who I am. And let's just talk. Let's just work this out. I won't come to the house. So men are fixers. They're fixers by nature, right? So do not do that, okay? Go by the advice of your attorney, which is going to say, don't do that. If your attorney says, take the children to the police station, do that, because this police station is considered a safe, neutral place. So do that. Do not take matters into your own hands. That's the most important thing, because that could be a violation of the restraining order, and now you're really in deep, in deep trouble. The second thing is, anything can and will be used against you after you find out that you got a false allegation lodged against you. So do not, be careful what you text, you email. Do not do that. If you can get on a parenting app, get on the parenting app. There's free ones out there, because anything you say can and will be used against you. The third thing, and I don't know if you're going to like this one, but leave the home. Before you get the restraining order, if you feel like there's something wrong, there's something, she's acting a certain way that normally she wouldn't be doing, she's setting you up. She is setting you up. So leave the home. I don't care if you have to go to a homeless shelter at this point. Going to a homeless shelter is better than sleeping under the roof of a woman that is plotting and planning against you. Leave. So leave the home, and just, if you know that you're in this situation, you're thinking, like, as you were saying your story, you were saying, I can't understand it. I was emailing my friends and all this stuff, but then I still went to the house. And it's like, that's when I was like listening to your story. I'm like, oh, I just wish he had left. I wish he had left to his son's house sooner. And so as attorneys, we see this, right? We see this pattern, and we see this pattern of behavior, and just leave. Just leave. If it's a week, if it's 2 weeks, just leave the house, because leaving the house and sleeping on someone's couch is better than having a restraining order lodged against you, which is very hard to dismiss. Very hard.
Those last 3 points that you just made are gold. I don't think that, again, men in particular, we're talking about men right now.
Yes.
See the setup. It's not something that they understand. It's not something that they've experienced. So they don't see the setup coming. They don't realize that they have now entered the twilight zone. And now that you're in the twilight zone, you hear that music and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And that goes to that point of being disoriented again.
Disillusioned.
You're in your disillusion. You're like, this can't be happening. But yes, in fact, it is happening to you right now in real time.
Correct.
And I keep saying to people also, I'm doing this because this is precaution. I think the more we share this with men, and I don't want to scare anybody, because I know there's some great marriages out there. There's some great situations where people are trying to work things out. But then there are those situations that have crossed a point of no return.
Correct.
And you need to be able to identify when you've crossed into the point of no return and how you respond, so that you are not victimized